Now we went ahead and built a model here, and we tried to encompass all the scenarios you might come in contact with. You got waterfalls. You've got large rocks in the river system. You got bends in the creeks. You got cracks in the bedrock. You got eddy currents. You got long stretches. You got sharp turns with cave systems. You got benches. You've got sandbars. You've got side tributaries feeding in. You got low pressure zones where the creek widens out. You've got sections of bedrock running perpendicular through the creeks. Got sharp bends. And of course you got large boulders too. Now what's good about this is you can change the parameters, the variables involved to suit the situation you might be encountering. So if you want to see how the dynamics change when you introduce large rocks or boulders, you can do that. That's what I like about this system, is it's dynamic, it's not static. You can change it all. That way you can see how the black sand and the gold are going to be affected by the water if you add in different variables. Alright, now to make this work, I got a bowl of black sands here, and I got some super fine gold. Not only are we going to find out where the black sand drops out, but we're also going to find out where the gold drops out, since it's 19.3 times heavier than water. The paintbrush is so that you go over the entire surface area of where the water's traveling before you start out. Get rid of those air bubbles, because that can have an effect on this material since it's been screened down to -20. Plus, the paintbrush is great for moving water current or moving your black sands around to see what different scenarios that you can come up with. And yeah, you're gonna get wet. Now, another good thing about this model is I can increase or decrease water flow, which has a tremendous effect during flood stages. Alright, now let's add some black sand in there and see how it reacts. See how it's collecting right here in front of this tributary? And then back behind the tributary. And then in this low pocket zone right here, and then you got all this flow sand in the back of the sandbar. See that? Perfect place to look for gold. Right there. Right where this tributary feeds into another creek, a more stronger creek. That's a good place to look for gold. That's a good place to look for gold. See the eddy current right there moving around? And the gold is trapped in that low pressure zone right there. Here, you can see where these two low pressure zones are on the side, and the gold would be trapped there, not in the middle, on the sides. Here you can see where the creek widens out and the pressure slows down, and all this golden black sand deposit right here. Right here I've got a large obstruction, and you can see that the black sand is collecting behind the rock. And then on the inside bend right here, which is a no-brainer. Then as the pressure builds up, there's nothing. Then you have another large obstruction right here. See that? And then you have a low pressure zone here. And then just to the side of the rock, a low pressure zone there. And then it feeds out through here into this canyon. And then you have this huge pay streak right there. Do you see that? Then around the corner, it comes here. Low pressure zone, there's another pay streak right there. Current picks up, nothing. And then on it goes. Now see this large obstruction or boulder right here? There's nothing directly behind it. Now you can see the boulder here, but directly behind it there's nothing. A lot of people say check right behind the boulder. I'm saying you have to get away from that high pressure zone to the low pressure zone, which is usually away from the back of a boulder. See that? All right, now we're going to decrease our water speed, and then we're going to put some obstructions there to see what that does. Notice that the pay streak has increased. There's the old size, here's the new size. Same with this pay streak here, it's gotten larger because of the decreased water flow. This one has increased in size as well. See this pay streak has a teardrop shape to it. Then down here where you have the side tributary, you can see a little eddy current right there flowing around. And then you have this huge amount of black sand on the back side of it. All right, now I'm gonna go put a boulder in there and see what happens then, son. All right, we'll put a boulder in right about here. See how the water, see how the dynamics is flowing up against this? All right, now we're gonna drop some gold in there and see how the gold responds. We'll start off with low current first and then work our way up to high current. All right, we're gonna drop a little in here, see what it does. As you can see, it's not really doing much of anything. So we're going to put some right here. Now you can see where the gold is dropped out here and here. It's just sitting there. It's in a bowl. There's not enough water pressure to get it out. All right, we'll put some in the corner here. Again, it's just sitting there. It's so heavy and dense. All right, we'll put some here. See how that's moved along? And there's pieces of it trapped right there under that boulder. Put some in the tributary here. See that? Side feeding tributary. And it's just hanging up right there. Right in there. Now if you look, you can see that the gold is moved. And now it's here, right there on the inside bin next to that large rock. See it sitting there? It's not doing nothing. And over here, we have our large obstruction right here. And you can see where all that gold is deposited right there on the edge. Not doing anything, it's just sitting there. And it's on the back side of this collection of black sand. Then if you get over here, behind the large rock, there's a bunch of black sand, but the gold is back here on the back of the tail. Then as you come around the corner, you have gold deposits right in there and at the very front, here and here, of that black sand deposit. Nothing towards the back. Ooh, so let's shut that water off and get a good look, son. All right, nothing up by the waterfall. Blown most of it out. There's a few pieces of gold in there. Around here, there's a few pieces of gold there. A few pieces of gold there. But then look, right here in this little pocket, right where this V is, see that? And it gets caught right there in this low pressure zone and just sits there. You see all that beautiful gold just sitting in there, right in that V, right at the head of it. And here's that large obstruction, the rock. There's a low pressure zone here. There's a few pieces of gold here, but if you look over here on the side, you see the pay streak of black sand, but all the gold is behind it. You see that? The gold is dropped out on the back side of it around the edge of this rock, and it's sitting inside of that dimple. There's nothing behind this large rock at all. Then away from it, you have this black sand pay streak. It goes back, see how there's a split down the middle of it? And all the gold is on the outer edge right here. You see that? All along this edge here. All along the edge right there. Now when you come around this corner, there's a big chunk of gold there. And then the gold drops out right there. In the very front, along the inside of this curve, in that little groove in the bedrock. And then it all bunches up here in the very front of this giant pay streak of black sand. See that? And you got little pieces of gold all through it, but most of it's bunched up here in the very front. Here's our boulder. You can see black sand, and you can see a little bit of gold right there that's caught in the front. Go back behind it, there's a huge amount of black sand on the back side of it, especially where this tributary comes in. You can see gold all through there. There's a piece right there. All right, so we're gonna push the gold and the black sand along with the paintbrush and see where it goes. Same place, right there on the edge. So we're gonna give it a push. And you see this pay streak right here? Black sand and the gold is sitting right there. Give it a push. Put our rock back. Create an eddy current right there. Give it a push. See how the gold is disappearing under all that hydrodynamic force? Where's it going? It's going under the rock and depositing right behind it here. See all that gold in there? You can see it all right there. This would be a fantastic pay streak. Not a lot in the front. There's a little bit of gold there, there, and there. But most of it's blown its way under the rock. And on the back side. Alright, now I've shut the water off because I want you to see this. See how a lot of the gold had sat here and then got blown away? Now there's not a lot underneath it because there's enough room for it to blow through here. There is some here and some chunky nuggets there. But look at behind the rock. Not directly behind it, but back far. Look at this huge pay streak right here. See that? That's nothing but gold. And then on the other side of this sandbar right here, down here in this pocket, you got this pay streak. See this long skinny pay streak? It's nothing but gold. There's nothing on the other side here at all. This is all barren. It's right down here on the side of that sandbar. All right, let's keep going because I'm curious. All right, now I've taken the rock out. The rock was sitting here. I've got some eddy currents right here. Now with the rock gone, the gold has split. It's here and it moved over here. See how I changed the dynamics? Simply by moving that rock. Now the water pressure is greater and it's actually divided the gold into this horseshoe loop of a pay streak. All right, let's move it along. Now the pressure is really low here. So the gold, it's a no-brainer. It's gonna sit here. So let's push it along, see what happens. All right, now you see where that gold is dropping out right there? See that? There's gold dropping out there, there, and down in there. Right behind that little waterfall. And then on the back side of the waterfall, then you have this huge section of pay streak coming around here. And then jumping up onto this little bench and then feeding around this way. All right, got the water shut off. Now look at this. This is your bedrock running perpendicular to your creeks and rivers. And look at this right here. See on the backside and these little tiny divots and pockets. Not much of anything. The gold gets in these things and just sits there. Doesn't move at all. See that? Big chunky nuggets. Then there's this drop off. And there's a little bit of gold in the corner. There's some in this little divot here. But look at this. There's a whole bunch in the backside where the low pressure zone is. And right here at the very head, once again, here in the very front of these black sand deposits, you can see all this gold is just sitting there. Not much here, not much here. Around the inside bend, and bam, more gold at the very front. Nothing in the back, it's in the front. And a few pieces back here. All right, we'll give it another push. See where it goes. All right, shut that water off. All right, now take a look at this. This is a very sharp bend. See this? Where the water comes in, it hits this, creates an instant dead pressure zone right across from it. Here you can see all the way up on this bench, there's a little bit of gold, and then directly across is what? Huge pay streak right there. And then there's nothing. And then there's another pay streak right there. You can see where it's starting on the very front. Nothing in the back. It's always in the very front right here because it stops and just sits there in the very front of this thing. But you can see where it's directly across. Water coming in, it stops, it dumps everything, and then proceeds this way. So directly across from it, boom. Not anything over here, but right there, huge amounts of gold. Now you understand how you use hydrodynamic models to show where deposition is going to take place.